Hi, English learners. Welcome back to English Daily Learning Podcast, where real conversations make everyday English feel clearer and more natural. I'm Mia, and today we are talking about personality, habits, and 4 letters that often appear in online profiles. MBTI.
And I'm Leo. Some people know their type immediately, while others have taken the test 3 times and received 3 different answers.
That already gives us something interesting to discuss.
MBTI can be a fun way to begin a conversation about how we think, make decisions, plan, and spend time with other people.
But 4 letters cannot explain an entire human being. And this episode will not treat a personality test like a scientific diagnosis.
Instead, we will use the topic to build natural English for describing ourselves and understanding other people.
We will cover introverts and extroverts, logic and feelings, planning and flexibility, social energy, work habits, friendships, and common misunderstandings.
We will also hear complete conversations where people compare their types without putting each other into boxes.
So whether you know all 16 types or have never taken the test, you can still use every part of this conversation.
Let us begin with the question people always ask. What is your type?
MBTI is short for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, a personality framework that describes preferences in 4 areas.
Those preferences are usually written as 4 letters, such as INFP, ESTJ, or ENTP.
The first pair is E or I, often described as extroversion and introversion.
The second pair is S or N, connected with how people notice and interpret information.
The third pair is T or F, connected with how people tend to make decisions.
And the final pair is J or P, often connected with structure, planning, and flexibility.
In casual English, someone might say, I'm an INFJ, or my type is ENFP.
If you do not know your type, you can simply say, I've never taken the test, or I'm not sure what my type is.
You may also hear, I got INTP on the test. The verb get is natural when we talk about a test result.
Another useful sentence is, I usually test as ISFJ. That leaves room for the result to change.
Notice that people often use MBTI casually, as a conversation starter rather than a complete explanation.
A good opening question is, do you think your type describes you well?
A personality description may feel accurate in some places and completely wrong in others.
If it feels accurate, say, that description sounds a lot like me.
You can also say, I really relate to that part. To relate to something means to feel that it matches your experience.
A stronger expression is, that was surprisingly accurate.
If only part of the description fits, say, I relate to some parts of it, but not everything.
Or, it is accurate up to a point. That means it is partly true, but has clear limits.
If it does not fit, try, that does not really sound like me.
We can also say, I think the description is a little too general.
The phrase, it depends on the situation, is especially useful for personality conversations.
Someone may be quiet at work, but very talkative with close friends.
So a balanced response could be, I can see myself in the description, but my behavior changes depending on the context.
That sentence is more realistic than treating every personality trait as fixed.
Let us look more closely at 2 of the most familiar personality words, introvert and extrovert.
An introvert often prefers quieter environments or needs time alone after a lot of social activity.
An extrovert often feels energized by interaction and may enjoy thinking out loud with other people.
But introvert does not automatically mean shy, and extrovert does not automatically mean confident.
Shyness is connected with discomfort or nervousness in social situations.
Introversion is more about where someone tends to direct attention and how they recover their energy.
A natural sentence is, I enjoy meeting people, but I need time alone to recharge.
Recharge literally means to fill a battery with energy again. We also use it for people.
An extroverted person might say, being around people gives me energy.
Someone in the middle can say, I'm somewhere between an introvert and an extrovert.
The informal word ambivert is also used for someone who shows both patterns.
The most useful question is not, are you quiet? But what helps you feel energized again?
Personality becomes easier to describe when we talk about specific situations.
After a busy party, one person may want to continue talking, while another person wants to go home and be silent.
We can say, large social events drain my energy. Drain means to use up energy.
Another natural phrase is, my social battery is running low.
That is informal and common online. It means you have less energy left for social interaction.
If you need a break, say, I need a little quiet time, or I need some time to myself.
Time to myself does not necessarily mean you are lonely or upset.
An outgoing person may say, I feel restless when I spend too much time alone.
Restless means unable to relax because you want activity or change.
We should avoid judging either preference as better.
Instead of saying, she is antisocial, we can say, she prefers smaller groups.
Specific and neutral language helps us describe behavior without criticizing the person.
Quiet people are sometimes misunderstood in group conversations.
Others may assume that silence means boredom, disagreement, or a lack of confidence.
But someone may simply need more time to process what they hear.
Process means to think about information and understand it before responding.
A quiet person might say, I usually think before I speak.
Or, I need a moment to organize my thoughts.
If you become more talkative after getting comfortable, say, I take a while to open up.
Open up means to begin sharing thoughts and feelings more freely.
A friendly explanation could be, I may seem quiet at first, but I become more talkative once I know people.
That sentence is useful at work, school, or when meeting a new group.
We can also describe someone positively as a good listener or thoughtful.
Quietness is a visible behavior, but the reason behind it may be different for every person.
The second MBTI pair is usually written as S and N.
S is often associated with concrete details, direct experience, and practical information.
N is often associated with patterns, possibilities, and the bigger picture.
In ordinary conversation, we do not need to use the technical labels every time.
We can say, I tend to focus on practical details.
Or, I naturally look for patterns and future possibilities.
Someone who wants clear examples might say, I understand things better when I can see how they work in real life.
Someone who enjoys abstract ideas might say, I like exploring what something could become.
Big picture thinker describes someone who focuses on the general direction rather than every small detail.
Detail-oriented describes someone who notices and carefully manages specific information.
These are not opposites in ability. A person can notice details and still imagine possibilities.
The difference is often about which kind of information attracts attention first.
Imagine two coworkers planning an event.
One immediately asks about the budget, schedule, room size, and number of chairs.
The other begins with the experience they want people to have and the message of the event.
The first person may be described as practical, organized, or detail-oriented.
The second may be described as imaginative, conceptual, or focused on the big picture.
Conceptual means connected with ideas and general principles rather than only concrete facts.
If details are difficult for you, say, I sometimes overlook small details when I'm focused on the overall goal.
Overlook means to fail to notice something.
If vague ideas frustrate you, say, I prefer a clear example to a general theory.
Both approaches can be useful, especially when people communicate instead of competing.
A balanced team might say, you keep us grounded, and I help us see new possibilities.
That describes difference as cooperation rather than conflict.
The third MBTI pair, T and F, is often misunderstood.
Thinking does not mean someone has no feelings, and feeling does not mean someone cannot think logically.
The pair is usually about what people tend to prioritize when making decisions.
A thinking preference may focus first on consistency, principles, and logical consequences.
A feeling preference may focus first on values, relationships, and how a decision affects people.
Natural phrases include, I try to look at the facts first.
Or, I pay close attention to how the decision will affect everyone involved.
We can say, I tend to make decisions based on logic.
Another person may say, my personal values play a big role in my decisions.
Play a big role means to have an important influence.
Many real decisions need both clear reasoning and human understanding.
Good judgment is not created by choosing one and ignoring the other.
Differences in decision-making can also affect communication style.
Some people value direct feedback because it feels clear and efficient.
Others pay more attention to tone because the relationship matters alongside the information.
A direct person might say, I would rather hear the truth clearly.
A more relationship-focused person might say, I want to be honest without making the other person feel dismissed.
Dismissed means treated as if your thoughts or feelings are unimportant.
If someone sounds too direct, we can say, I understand your point, but the way it was expressed felt a little harsh.
If someone avoids the main issue, we can say, I appreciate your kindness, but I need a more direct answer.
Those sentences describe the communication need without attacking the person's character.
We should be careful with labels like cold, overly emotional, or too sensitive.
A better question is, what information does this person need in order to make a decision?
Personality language is most useful when it improves communication.
The final MBTI pair, J and P, is often connected with structure and flexibility.
A judging preference may enjoy decisions, plans, schedules, and a sense of completion.
A perceiving preference may enjoy keeping options open and responding as new information appears.
In everyday English, say, I'm more of a planner.
Or, I prefer to keep my options open.
A flexible person may say, I usually go with the flow.
Go with the flow means to accept events and adapt without controlling every detail.
A structured person might say, I feel better when I know what the plan is.
Neither style means someone is responsible or irresponsible by definition.
A planner can change plans, and a flexible person can still meet a deadline.
The preference often shows what makes someone feel comfortable, not what they are capable of doing.
Again, specific behavior tells us more than a single label.
Imagine two friends planning a weekend trip.
One wants to book the hotel, choose the restaurants, and create a schedule 2 weeks in advance.
The other wants to arrive, look around, and decide based on the weather and mood.
The planner might say, last-minute changes make me a little stressed.
The flexible friend might say, a detailed schedule makes me feel restricted.
Restricted means not free to move or choose easily.
They can compromise. Let's book the important things and leave the afternoons open.
That sentence protects structure and flexibility at the same time.
If you like planning, say, I prefer to have a rough plan. A rough plan is general, not extremely detailed.
If you like spontaneity, say, I enjoy being spontaneous as long as the important things are covered.
Personality differences become easier when people explain the need behind the preference.
The goal is not to prove that one travel style is correct.
Personality vocabulary is useful at work, but we should use it carefully.
Saying, I'm an introvert, so I cannot present, turns a preference into a permanent limit.
A more useful sentence is, I present better when I have time to prepare.
That gives coworkers practical information.
Someone who likes collaboration may say, I think best when I can discuss ideas with the team.
Someone who prefers independent work may say, I need some uninterrupted time before the group discussion.
Uninterrupted means not stopped by messages, questions, or other distractions.
A detail-oriented worker may say, I'm good at spotting inconsistencies.
A big picture thinker may say, I'm good at connecting separate ideas and identifying the overall direction.
In an interview, focus on behavior and examples rather than only naming a type.
I'm an ENFP tells an employer less than a clear example of how you communicate or solve problems.
Personality frameworks can suggest vocabulary, but evidence makes the description believable.
A team often needs people who approach the same problem differently.
One person begins quickly and improves the idea while working.
Another wants to research first and reduce uncertainty before taking action.
We can describe the first style as experimental or action-oriented.
The second may be cautious, analytical, or methodical.
Methodical means working in a careful, organized sequence.
Conflict begins when we turn a difference into a negative story.
The fast person calls the careful person slow, while the careful person calls the fast person careless.
A healthier sentence is, we have different working styles, so let's agree on the decision deadline.
Or, could you show me the main risk you are concerned about?
Asking for the reason behind a preference creates a more useful conversation.
A type label should never replace ordinary teamwork skills.
MBTI often appears in conversations about friendship and romantic compatibility.
People ask whether two types are a perfect match or naturally incompatible.
Compatible means able to have a comfortable and successful relationship.
Personality similarities can make some things easy, but differences can also be interesting and supportive.
A planner may help a spontaneous friend remember important details.
The spontaneous friend may help the planner relax when something changes.
We can say, we have different personalities, but our values are similar.
Or we communicate differently, so we have learned to be more explicit about what we need.
Explicit means clear and directly stated, rather than only suggested.
Avoid saying, we cannot get along because our types do not match.
A test cannot measure every shared experience, habit, value, or communication skill.
Compatibility is something people build, not only something 4 letters predict.
Let us pause and collect the most useful language so far.
To describe social energy, I need time alone to recharge. Or, being around people gives me energy.
To describe information, I focus on practical details. Or, I naturally look for the bigger picture.
To describe decisions, I look at the facts first. Or, I consider how the decision affects people.
To describe planning, I'm more of a planner. Or, I prefer to keep my options open.
To discuss a test result, I relate to some parts of it, but not everything.
And to keep the conversation balanced, it depends on the situation.
These phrases describe real behavior instead of asking 4 letters to do all the work.
If this episode is useful, a quick like or subscription helps more learners find the channel while our conversation continues.
Next, let us talk about mistyping, stereotypes, changing results, and whether MBTI should influence important decisions.
Many people are surprised when their MBTI result changes.
One year they receive INFP, and later they receive ENFP or ISFP.
A result can be affected by how we understand the questions, our current situation, and the version of the test.
We may also answer as the person we want to be rather than the way we usually behave.
A natural phrase is, my result changes depending on how I answer the questions.
Or, I'm close to the middle on that preference.
Close to the middle means neither side is strongly dominant.
If 2 types both seem possible, say, I'm not sure which type fits me better.
The informal verb mistype means to identify someone as the wrong personality type.
I may have mistyped myself. Means you think your earlier result may not fit.
A changing result does not mean your entire personality changed overnight.
It may simply show that categories have limits and people are complex.
Online descriptions sometimes turn personality types into cartoon characters.
Every INTJ becomes a cold genius, every ENFP becomes chaotic, and every ISFJ becomes endlessly helpful.
These are stereotypes, simplified beliefs about an entire group.
A stereotype may contain a familiar pattern, but it ignores individual differences.
We can say, that is a common stereotype about this type.
Or, I do not think that trait applies to everyone.
If a joke feels harmless, you might say, it is funny, but it is obviously exaggerated.
Exaggerated means presented as stronger or more extreme than reality.
Be careful when describing another person without asking them.
Saying, you are definitely a thinker, so you do not care about feelings, is both unfair and unhelpful.
Try, you seem to prefer direct solutions. Does that sound accurate to you?
That turns a judgment into a respectful question.
Some people love MBTI, while others question how reliable it is.
Reliable means producing consistent and dependable results.
Critics point out that personality often exists on a range, rather than in 2 completely separate boxes.
They also note that some people receive different results when they take the test again.
Supporters may say the framework gives them accessible language for reflection and communication.
Accessible here means easy for ordinary people to understand and use.
A balanced opinion is, I find it useful for self-reflection, but I do not treat it as a scientific diagnosis.
Another is, it can start a meaningful conversation, even if it does not explain everything.
The phrase, take it with a grain of salt, means not accepting something completely or literally.
We can say, I enjoy personality tests, but I take the results with a grain of salt.
That position allows curiosity without giving the test too much authority.
We do not need to choose between believing every description and rejecting the topic completely.
A personality label becomes harmful when it turns into an excuse or a cage.
Someone may say, I am a perceiver, so I can never be organized.
Or, I am an introvert, so networking is impossible for me.
Preferences describe what may feel natural, but skills can still be practiced.
A better sentence is, organization does not come naturally to me, so I use reminders and simple systems.
Or, large networking events are tiring for me, so I focus on a few meaningful conversations.
Those statements acknowledge difficulty and still leave room for action.
Come naturally means to feel easy, without much conscious effort.
We can also say, that is outside my comfort zone, but I am working on it.
Personality can explain a starting point without deciding the final result.
People adapt to jobs, relationships, cultures, responsibilities, and new stages of life.
4 letters should support self-awareness, not reduce our willingness to grow.
How can we ask about personality without sounding like an interviewer?
Start lightly. Have you ever taken a personality test?
If they say yes, ask, did the result feel accurate?
Another friendly question is, are you more of a planner or do you prefer to be spontaneous?
You can ask, do you recharge by spending time alone or by being with people?
Those questions invite examples instead of demanding a label.
Avoid announcing a type as if you have discovered a secret truth about someone.
Instead of, you are obviously an ENTP, say, you seem to enjoy exploring different ideas. Is that fair?
Is that fair means, is that a reasonable description?
If someone does not enjoy personality tests, let the topic go.
We can say, no problem. I just find the conversation interesting.
Curiosity should make people feel seen, not examined.
Let us hear 2 friends compare their test results.
I took an MBTI test again last night, and apparently I am an ENFP now.
Now? What did you get before?
INFP. I think I am close to the middle between introversion and extroversion.
Does the new description sound like you?
Some parts do. I love exploring ideas, and I definitely keep my options open. But the description makes me sound much more outgoing than I feel.
Maybe you are social in the right environment, but still need time alone to recharge.
That sounds more accurate. What about you?
I usually test as an ISFJ. I relate to the planning and detail-oriented parts, but I am not as traditional as some descriptions suggest.
That is the problem with stereotypes. They turn a preference into a complete character.
Exactly. I like the questions because they help me reflect, but I do not think my type defines me.
Same. It gives me useful language, but I take the result with a grain of salt.
Which part of your type has actually helped you understand yourself?
Probably noticing that I think out loud. I used to assume everyone wanted to discuss an idea immediately.
And now?
Now I give quieter people time to process before asking for an answer.
That sounds like a useful result, whatever your 4 letters are. Now imagine 2 coworkers discussing how to plan a new project.
Before we start, could we agree on the main goal and deadline?
Sure. I also want to leave room to adjust the plan after we talk to customers.
That makes sense. I am more of a planner, so too many open questions make me nervous.
I am almost the opposite. A detailed plan too early makes me feel restricted.
How about we set 3 fixed milestones, but keep the smaller tasks flexible?
I like that. We could also have a short review after each milestone.
Good idea. I tend to focus on details, so please tell me if I lose sight of the bigger picture.
And I sometimes overlook practical details when I get excited about a new idea.
Then our working styles may actually balance each other.
Agreed. For feedback, do you prefer direct comments or a little context first?
Direct is fine, but I appreciate knowing why the change matters.
Perfect. I prefer time to think before responding, so I may not decide immediately in a meeting.
Thanks for telling me. I will send the main questions before our next discussion.
This conversation never required either coworker to reveal an MBTI type.
They use personality language to create a better working process.
Let us finish with a quick collection of expressions for future personality conversations.
To introduce a result, I usually test as ENFP, or my type is ISTJ.
To describe social energy, I need time alone to recharge.
To describe becoming comfortable, I take a while to open up.
To describe information, I am detail-oriented, or I tend to focus on the bigger picture.
To describe decisions, I look at the facts first, or My values play a big role in my decisions.
To describe structure, I'm more of a planner, or I usually go with the flow.
To discuss accuracy, I relate to some parts of it, but not everything.
To question a stereotype, I do not think that trait applies to everyone.
To express a balanced opinion. It is useful for self-reflection, but I take it with a grain of salt.
Personality language is most valuable when it helps us explain needs, notice differences, and communicate with more care.
It becomes less useful when we use it to judge people, predict every relationship, or avoid learning a new skill.
You are always more than a test result, and your behavior can change across situations and stages of life.
The next time someone asks for your MBTI, you can give the 4 letters and then add something more meaningful.
Explain how you recharge, how you make decisions, what kind of plan helps you, or which part of the description does not fit.
That is where the real conversation begins.
What is your MBTI type, and which part describes you well?
And which part does not sound like you at all? Try sharing 1 or 2 sentences in English below.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like the video and subscribe to English Daily Learning Podcast.
New conversations are here to make everyday English clearer, warmer, and more natural.
Thanks for listening.
And we will talk with you again soon.